Remy Price's return to Los Angeles is anything but quiet. He doesn't just reappear, detonates like a bomb in the middle of Luna Nozawa's increasingly unstable world, bringing with him a truth she's long buried and forcing her to confront it at the worst possible moment. At the shooting range where tension already simmers beneath the surface, Remy doesn't hold back. His words are sharp, calculated, and meant to cut through Luna's carefully maintained denial. With each shot fired, each breath held between rounds, he pushes her closer to the edge. "You thought you could outrun it," he says coldly. "But you can't." "Not anymore," Luna snaps. The pressure, the fear, the humiliation, it all floods in. Her grip falters, her hands tremble, and the gun slips. A single shot rings out, not at the target, not toward the wall, but in the direction of the door where Steffi Forrester has just stepped into view, searching for Finn. The bullet misses her by inches, slicing the air beside her head. Chaos explodes. Screams fill the air. Steffi drops to the ground, stunned, heart racing, realizing she just came within a breath of death. The range locks down instantly. Security rushes in. Luna's face goes pale, her entire body frozen in place. Remy moves forward instinctively but stops when he sees the horror on Luna's face. This wasn't a scare tactic. This was real. This was reckless. This was dangerous. And everyone knows it. Steffi is helped to her feet, physically unharmed but visibly shaken. Her expression shifts quickly from fear to fury. She locks eyes with Luna and doesn't blink. "What the hell is wrong with you?" she demands. Luna can't answer. She has no answer. Just panic. News of the incident reaches Finn and Lee Finnegan within minutes. When they arrive at the scene, they find a swarm of press already gathering outside. Sensors buzzing, cameras flashing, voices shouting questions. Was Steffi Forrester shot at? Is Luna Nozawa armed and dangerous? Is this a mental breakdown? Finn rushes to Steffi, pulling her close, checking her for injuries, barely hearing her as she insists she's fine. But the damage isn't physical. It's psychological. It's public. And it's irreversible. Inside the facility, Lee surveys Luna with clinical detachment. Her earlier fears have now become reality. This isn't just emotional instability. This is a public safety threat. She turns to Finn and says what neither of them wants to say aloud. "We have to report her." Finn hesitates, but Lee doesn't. She places the call herself. A formal report. An incident involving a firearm. Potential criminal negligence. A danger to the community. Luna will have to be investigated. Possibly detained. There is no covering this up anymore. Not after a bullet nearly ended Steffi's life. Back at the hospital, the media descends like vultures. Every outlet wants the story. Every reporter wants a quote. Liam Spencer doesn't hesitate. He steps forward, voice calm, jacket buttoned, face composed. "Steffi is safe now," he tells them. "And I'm going to make sure she stays that way in a matter of hours." He's painted as the hero, the protective ex-husband, the strong male figure rising up to defend the mother of his children. He leans into the role with practiced ease, feeding the press just enough without revealing the full scope of what happened. What Luna did was reckless, he says. There's no excuse for it. "I won't let Steffi be exposed to that danger again." Inside the hospital, the fallout continues. Poppy Nozawa arrives, frantic, begging to see her daughter. But Lee intercepts her. "She nearly killed someone," Lee says coldly. "This is no longer just a family matter." Poppy pleads, sobs, tries to explain that Luna didn't mean to. That it was an accident. That she was provoked. But none of it matters. Not to Lee. Not to Finn. And certainly not to Steffi. Luna is taken into custody temporarily for evaluation. She doesn't resist. She doesn't speak. She just stares straight ahead, numb. The ride to the facility is silent. Not even the guards speak. She's no longer the rebellious young woman fighting for independence. She's a headline. a liability, and possibly a criminal. Back at the Forrester estate, Steffi tries to compose herself. She refuses to be rattled, but it shows. The near-death experience has shaken her more than she wants to admit. She holds her children tighter that night. She triple-checks the locks. She watches the news, jaw clenched, as Liam stands outside the hospital, playing the hero to a rapt audience. It should infuriate her. Instead, it just makes her tired, because she knows what's coming. The blame, the gossip, the fallout. Remy, meanwhile, disappears. After the incident, he quietly leaves the shooting range before law enforcement can ask too many questions. He knows he pushed Luna too far. He thought he could shake her awake, force her to see how far she'd fallen. Instead, he watched her almost pull the trigger on an innocent person. He keeps his distance, uncertain of his role anymore. He still doesn't know how to process the truth of his connection to Luna, to Poppy. But now, he wonders if any of that matters. He may have already done irreversible damage. The media frenzy only intensifies. Articles paint Luna as unstable, a ticking time bomb, someone who should have been stopped long ago. Liam gives more interviews. He insists this isn't about revenge. It's about protection. But his every word sharpens public opinion against Luna, and in turn, against Poppy. Questions begin to surface about how much Poppy knew. Did she hide her daughter's issues? Did she enable her? Is she responsible for what happened? Lee seizes the moment. In a press briefing flanked by hospital attorneys, she announces that the facility will conduct a full review of Luna's recent treatment, her behavioral patterns, and whether any staff enabled her instability. The implication is clear. Lee is washing her hands of Luna, Poppy, and everything they brought into the Finnegan family's world. Finn remains quiet through it all. He sits with Steffi. He holds her hand. He watches the children play, wondering how close he came to losing everything. His silence speaks volumes. He doesn't defend Luna. He doesn't question the report. He just lets it all happen. Meanwhile, Poppy tries to visit Luna during her evaluation. She's denied. She sits in a waiting room for hours, alone, watched by hospital staff and whispered about by strangers. She clutches a framed photo of Luna as a child and wonders how everything unraveled so fast. How one mistake, one buried truth, one confrontation, one trigger pull could lead to this. Luna, in isolation, says nothing. She doesn't cry. She doesn't scream. She just stares at the wall. Her thoughts a blur. Her future uncertain. Back at the hospital, Lee files an official addendum to the report. Luna is to remain under evaluation for a minimum of 72 hours with a recommendation for extended psychiatric review. No visitors, no exceptions. When Poppy tries again the next day, she's met with locked doors and cold stares. The scandal spreads. Poppy's career is questioned. Rumors swirl about her past, about Remy, about everything she tried to keep hidden. Luna's spiral becomes front-page news. Poppy's silence is used against her. And Liam. He takes Steffi out for dinner publicly, knowing cameras are watching. He walks beside her like a bodyguard. Protective, charming, prepared. The world sees what he wants them to see, that he's the man who kept Steffi alive. And behind it all, Lee watches. She's orchestrated it perfectly. Luna is neutralized. Poppy is exposed. Finn remains loyal. Steffi is untouched. The Nozoa threat is contained. And the public believes it was all an accident, a tragic, terrifying accident. But for those involved, it was something else. A breaking point. A line crossed. A bullet that didn't just nearly kill Steffi but shattered the last bit of hope Luna had left. And the story isn't over. It's only beginning. The disappearance of Will Spencer and Electra Domico in Italy sends shockwaves through both the fashion world and the corporate empire of Spencer Industries. What initially appears to be a missing persons case quickly spirals into a calculated conspiracy involving stolen defense-grade textile technology, international espionage, and a tangled web of personal betrayal. At the center of the storm, a groundbreaking innovation bulletproof fabric designed by Spencer Industries, originally meant for military contracts but recently explored for high-fashion applications. When will the Spencer heir and Electra, a rising fashion phenom and confidential collaborator, vanish during a confidential trial run of the tech in Milan? Alarm bells ring from Los Angeles to Rome. Will Spencer wastes no time. He knows his son. Will wouldn't just vanish without a trace, not during a confidential product demo. Bill suspects sabotage and more than that, theft. The encrypted designs, microthread schematics, and chemical weave formula could now be in enemy hands. With billions in military deals and classified patents at stake, this isn't just a Spencer problem, it's a global liability. The tech could destabilize industries, governments, or worse, land in the hands of enemies who see fashion as a convenient front for weapons proliferation. Back in LA, the Forrester family faces a different crisis. The upcoming international fashion season, dubbed Fashion Week, globally their last shot to recover from a year of declining profits, scandal-ridden launches, and internal instability. Without a new, market-shaking collection, Forrester Creations could lose its seat at the top of the fashion food chain. But there's a problem. Their entire textile partner pipeline has gone dark. Orders for specialized material have been canceled or rerouted. Warehouses in Italy have gone cold. Sources dry up. And whispers spread that the same tech developed by Spencer Industries may have been reverse engineered and is being sold under the table to competing designers preparing to unveil at Fashion Week. Reg and Steffi connect the dots fast. If the stolen tech is already in circulation, Fashion Week will become more than just a runway, it'll be a war zone. And with Bill closing in from the business side, both families realize they have no choice. They must form a temporary alliance. Forrester needs the fabric to save their brand. Bill needs proof of theft to save his son. And the only way to retrieve the evidence, recover Will and Electra, and secure the intellectual property is to go directly into the fire. Fashion Week isn't just an event anymore, it's a battlefield. They call it Fashion Week Warfront, a joint Spencer-Forrester campaign disguised as a luxury couture collaboration, but operating underneath as a full-blown counterintelligence operation. Steffi Forrester and Liam Spencer are chosen as the faces of the linen, not just for their charisma and market pull, but because they're the only two trusted enough to step into the danger zone. The stakes are brutal. Every sample, every thread, every backstage shipment could contain stolen code, surveillance bugs, or concealed data chips. And worse, the fashion houses they're competing with may be pawn fronts for foreign operatives now using the couture world as a cover for data smuggling and tech laundering. Rome becomes ground zero. As the Forrester-Spencer alliance touches down in Italy, the atmosphere is tense. Security details blend in as stylists. Tech experts pose as photographers. Hidden cameras are sewn into garment bags. Every model is vetted. Every invitation double-checked. Liam and Steffi are given custom-tailored runway garments made from a prototype batch of the original Spencer anti-ballistic textile, sleek enough for Fashion Week but armored for real-world threats. They are the bait, and they both know it. Behind the scenes, Bill coordinates with international authorities, but red tape slows everything down. He receives encrypted tips pointing toward Electra's possible imprisonment in an abandoned villa near Lake Como, proposed as a covert textile mill. Will's last known coordinates ping from a blocked signal tower just miles from the runway site. The closer they get to the show's climax, the more Bill suspects that the masterminds behind the theft plan to reveal their own miracle fabric during the finale while legitimizing stolen tech under a new label and erasing all traces of Spencer Industries' claim. Backstage, Steffi discovers inconsistencies in the garments of rival house stitching patterns that match Spencer's proprietary ballistic seam layout, a secret only a few engineers and tailors should know. Liam finds microchips hidden in decorative buttons. Each clue confirms the worst. This isn't fashion competition. It's a front for smuggling the tech out of Europe disguised as clothing samples. Every high-profile designer is potentially compromised. Every walk down the runway could be another data handoff. On the night of the show, chaos simmers beneath the glitz. The crowd gathers fashion royalty, billionaires, military buyers, and hidden agents from intelligence bureaus across 3 continents. Liam and Steffi take the stage in armored couture. Their final walk is more than a style statement, it's an extraction mission. Hidden in their garments are biometric transmitters keyed to Will and Electra's DNA signatures. The hope to trigger a response signal from wherever the captives are being held. It works. As they walk the length of the runway, a hidden signal activates in the production booth. Bill's team traces it in real time. Coordinates lock. Confirmation hits. Will and Electra are alive. Moments later, a rogue drone camera which had been flying overhead as part of the show's live broadcast is off script, zipping toward the backstage area. Liam tackles Steffi. The drone explodes against the marble floor. Panic erupts. Security swarms. Guests flee. And amidst the screaming, Steffi clutches Liam, bruised but alive, their armored fabric absorbing most of the shockwave. Bill's operatives move in fast, storming the Lake Como compound. Will is found bound but unharmed. Electra, dehydrated and weak, confirms everything. A rival conglomerate funded by black market investors orchestrated the theft, posing as buyers and slowly turning Electra into a scapegoat when she refused to give up Will's location. Back in Rome, as ambulances blare and smoke clears, Steffi faces the cameras with blood on her cheek, her dress in tatters, but her resolve unshaken. This was never just fashion, she says. It was survival. Liam stands behind her, no longer just the ex-husband or the anxious protector. He's earned his role in the narrative now, not just as a spokesman, but as a shield. The aftermath rewrites the industry. The Spencer Forrester collaboration is hailed as revolutionary. Fashion publications scramble to cover the real story. Runway as resistance, couture as counter-terrorism. Bill regains control of his tech, and thanks to Electra's testimony and physical evidence smuggled back in the very garments she helped design, international authorities dismantle a large portion of the espionage ring. Forrester's reputation rebounds almost overnight. Their bulletproof fashion becomes a niche luxury product with defense contracts lining up worldwide. Orders flood in from embassies, private security firms, and elite clientele. Bill doesn't back down either, forms a new division under Spencer Industries focused entirely on defense-integrated apparel, with Will now hailed as a survivor and innovator, named VP. Steffi and Liam's runway mission goes down as the most dangerous walk in fashion history, replayed endlessly across media. But behind their fame is a bond reforged under fire. They know too well the price of peace, and they'll never see fashion or each other the same way again. But as the headlines fade, one final note remains: not all the fabric was recovered. Somewhere, a pattern has gone dark. A single bolt of Spencer's prototype vanished during the chaos, unaccounted for, undocumented, missing. And as long as it's out there, the war beneath the runway isn't over.